final one before our predictions and we get out of here. The coaching matchup. What are you seeing, Derek? We often talk about Eric Spoelstra being the best in the league. Nick Nurse is very high in the rankings of coaches and how good they are. Tom Thibodeau has done a heck of a job with that Knicks team and turning things around. How do you see this matchup?
Well, I mean, look, Thibs has an incredible track record. Certainly as a defensive mind, he was very innovative back in Boston and all of his stops, really.
Chicago, yeah.
That being said, I do appreciate the creativity of Nick. In terms of a 7-game series, I trust Nick to make the adjustments. I think Nick is probably a little more of a well-rounded coach. So I think they all have their strengths and weaknesses, but I'm comfortable with where the Sixers are in this one.
What do you think, Kyle? Because I know how strongly you felt about Eric Spoelstra in this matchup against Nick Nurse, and Nurse got the better of him in the second half. But as far as Tom Thibodeau in the 7-game series?
So I don't mean this in a defamatory way. I think Thibs is a what you see is what you get type of guy, right?
Yeah.
Like they have a very firm and strong identity. I think he's similar in a way to Eric Spoelstra, where they are no nonsense type of guys. They are, when you join a team that is coached by Thibs, you know exactly what you're signing up for. There is no mystery. You can't show up to first day of training camp, and when he's barking at you or asking you to do this slide drill, or you got to do this or you're not playing, like, that is who Thibs is. And the weird thing is, or the funny thing is, he's a super nice guy from my experiences with him and what you hear around the league. And he also, I think, as much as any coach in the league, protects his players in public. Like I can't remember him dressing somebody down. He'll certainly scream at somebody from the sideline, right? But you're talking about publicly or in a press conference and all that. Like,
ice.
We're going to hear a lot of raspy ice throughout this series. But I have a lot of respect for him. Like,
good coach.
There was definitely a period there where his star fell and people were like, well, he's a one-trick pony. He just plays his guys 1,000 minutes and he runs them into the ground, blah, 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 blah. It's part of the reason that Jimmy Butler's next contract was such a concern when he's here in Philadelphia. Part of why people were happy at the time to let him go to Miami. But he's proven across – look, he went to Minnesota, not a place where they win and went in there. He went to New York, a program there that's they've been about as relevant as the Sixers have been in my lifetime, which is to say not. And they're now a legit team. He's molded a bunch of these guys into real strong role players around the head of the snake and Brunson. Brunson has gone to the next level under him, and you give most of the credit to Jalen for that, but Thibodeau and the way they've set up there has been able to facilitate that. So I respect the hell out of him. I personally think Nurse is a better coach for a playoff series because I think he's more adaptable and flexible.
Yep.
But I would say something to always caution about in the playoffs. We brought this up a lot when Brett Brown was here, and certainly when Doc was here. There is a fine line at times between doing what got you there and panicking. Like, where's the middle ground between we need to change some things, but we don't want to lose our identity? I think Thibs leans toward we stick to what we do and we just need to execute and play better. And that's certainly, like, I think that's a fair argument for a coach of a very good 2-seed type team to make. But I think if the Sixers can find some ways to attack them and find some ways to slow down Brunson, I'm not sure he's going to have the most creative answers to respond to.
He's a high-end version of Doc.
Yeah. Without the excuse making, too. Thibs will tell you when it's his fault and they deserve to lose and whatnot.
We all silly like the mayor.